The morning light filtered softly through the tall glass windows of the Aurora Corporation's lobby, painting golden streaks across the polished marble floor. People hurried in and out, consultants clutching coffee cups, assistants juggling documents, executives walking with the sharp confidence of those who believed the world bent beneath their footsteps. Amid the whirlwind of movement, one figure remained still, seated before a glossy black piano pushed neatly to the side of the entrance. Daniel Harper, a single father in his early 30s, settled his fingers gently on the ivory keys. His posture wasn't that of a trained concert pianist, nor did he have the flawless technique of someone raised under crystal chandeliers and world-famous mentors. But what he did have was something rarer: heart. Every note he played carried a quiet sincerity, like a whispered truth only the tender-eyed could hear. The melody that floated into the lobby wasn't loud. It didn't demand attention. Instead, it drifted like a memory, soft, aching, and warm. The kind of tune that made people pause without understanding why, the kind that stirred a forgotten emotion deep inside the chest. Daniel closed his eyes as he played. In his mind, he wasn't sitting in a corporate lobby. He was back in the tiny kitchen of his late wife, Lily, watching her sway gently while humming this very melody, her hair falling over her shoulders in waves of sunlight. She had taught him the song on nights when their world felt too heavy, nights when bills piled up and their daughter, Daisy, cried from colds they didn't have money to treat. Music had been Lily's comfort, and now it was his. But today, he wasn't playing for her memory alone. He was playing for his daughter, for the future she deserved. Her school fee deadline was approaching. He had picked up this small job, playing 2 hours every morning, in hopes of covering what his warehouse salary couldn't. The manager said the soft music made clients feel classy, but Daniel simply hoped it earned him enough to keep Daisy smiling. People walked past him without really looking. A few tossed coins into the small glass jar beside the piano. Others hardly noticed he existed. Yet Daniel had grown used to being invisible. What mattered was that with every note, he felt closer to Lily, and with every coin, he felt closer to giving Daisy a life where she never had to feel the kind of struggle he felt now. Little did he know, in just a few minutes, his quiet melody would reach the ears of someone who would change everything. The revolving doors at the entrance of Aurora Corporation spun gracefully as Elena Morozova, the company's CEO, stepped into the lobby. Her heels clicked with a steady rhythm, sharp, purposeful, the sound of a woman who had built her success from grit, discipline, and a heart carefully guarded behind layers of steel. Employees straightened as she passed, offering polite nods and nervous smiles. Elena acknowledged them with minimal expression. She was respected, admired, and feared for her unwavering standards. She was already reviewing the day's agenda in her mind: an investor meeting, a partnership negotiation, 3 presentations, and a working lunch she didn't actually have time for. Her schedule, like her life, was a polished machine with no room for detours. But halfway across the lobby, she halted so abruptly that the assistant behind her nearly walked into her. A sound had reached her. A melody, soft, tender, heartbreakingly familiar. It drifted through the air like a ghost brushing against her skin. For a moment, time seemed to fold in on itself. The conversations around her blurred into muffled noise, and the steady rhythm of her heels faded away. All she could hear was that melody, his melody. Her chest tightened. It had been decades since she last heard it. The song had belonged to a boy she once loved, a boy with warm eyes and nervous hands who spent summer evenings composing music for her on an old wooden piano. A boy who promised they'd change the world together. A boy who disappeared from her life without warning, leaving behind only silence and one unforgettable song. Her assistants exchanged confused glances. Elena never stopped. She was not a woman easily shaken. But now she stood frozen, staring at the direction of the piano as if drawn by an invisible thread. Every note hit her with the weight of memories she had locked away. Her first love, Alexei, had written that melody for her on the night they shared their last sunset. She had been 17. She thought she would hear the song forever. Instead, she never heard it again. Until today. Her breathing grew shallow as she stepped closer, her heart pounding with a mix of disbelief, longing, and pain she thought she had buried beneath years of power and ambition. Who was playing this song here, in her lobby, in her world, in her tightly controlled life? And how did they know it? Elena's steps grew slower as she approached the piano, each one dragging her deeper into memories she wasn't prepared to face. The closer she came, the clearer the melody became, every rise, every fall, every delicate pause exactly as Alexei had played it years ago. Her heartbeat matched the rhythm, shaky and uneven. Daniel felt the presence before he saw her. He opened his eyes, fingers still moving gracefully across the keys. A sharply dressed woman stood in front of him, her expression unreadable yet strangely vulnerable. Usually, people passed by without ever truly listening. But this woman, she was listening with her soul. He finished the last gentle chord, letting it linger in the air like a sigh. Elena swallowed, fighting to keep her composure as she spoke. "Where did you learn that song?" she asked, her voice trembling in a way that startled even her. Daniel blinked, caught off guard. "Oh, this one," he said quietly, almost apologetic. "My late wife taught it to me." He glanced at the piano keys as if the melody still lived beneath his fingertips. It was her favorite, a song from her childhood. Elena's breath hitched. Childhood. She felt the room grow smaller. "Do you know where she learned it?" Her voice was now barely more than a whisper. Daniel nodded slowly. "She said a boy she grew up with wrote it. Someone she admired deeply." He smiled faintly, remembering. "She used to talk about him sometimes. Said he was gentle, kind, talented, but she also said he died young. A sickness, I think." The words struck Elena like a cold wave. Alexei, the boy with the soft smile and the dreams too big for the small town they grew up in. The boy who wrote her melodies and secrets. The boy who left for treatment in another city and never returned. She had waited for letters that never came, for explanations that never arrived. Only later did she learn the truth. And now, here she was, standing before a man who had loved someone who had loved Alexei, too. A perfect, impossible circle of lives connected by one haunting melody. Elena's eyes glistened. "Your wife, what was her name?" she asked softly. "Lily," Daniel replied. "Lily Sokolova." Sokolova. Elena felt her knees weaken. Lily, Alexei's younger cousin. The little girl who used to sit beside them, swinging her legs and humming along to the very song Daniel had just played. The past wasn't just echoing today. It was standing right in front of her. For a long moment, the world inside the grand lobby seemed to shrink to just the two of them, Elena and Daniel, connected by a melody that neither fully understood until now. The hum of conversation around them faded, the clicking heels and ringing phones all becoming distant echoes. Elena felt as if she had stepped out of time, into a space where memories and reality overlapped. Daniel gently closed the piano lid halfway, as though to give the song a moment of rest. His eyes were kind but tired, the eyes of a man who had carried too much pain with too little complaint. "My wife loved this piece," he said quietly. "Whenever life got hard, when Daisy was sick, or when work hours were cut, she'd hum it. Said it made her feel like she wasn't alone." Elena's throat tightened. She could see Lily now, the girl with ribbons in her hair, always running to Alexei's side, always copying whatever he did. She remembered how Alexei had written that melody one summer evening, sitting under the old birch tree, whispering, "This is for when we're apart, Lena. So you always know where my heart is." She had never imagined the song would travel so far. She had never imagined it would comfort a young woman she never had the chance to know as an adult. Daniel continued, unaware of the storm of memories behind Elena's expression. "She sang it to our daughter every night," he said, voice soft with grief. "After she passed, I couldn't bear to listen to it for a while. But Daisy remembered it. She'd ask me, 'Papa, play Mama's song.' So I learned." He gave a small, fragile smile. "I wanted her to know her mother was still with us in some way." Elena's eyes shone with tears she didn't try to hide. It felt strange, vulnerable, almost frightening, but honest. For years, she had surrounded herself with glass walls and iron boundaries. Yet this man, this stranger, had unknowingly cracked them open with nothing more than the truth. She took a slow breath. "Your wife," she said gently. "She was family to someone I once loved very deeply." Daniel looked up, surprised. She continued, voice trembling with emotion she hadn't allowed herself to feel in years. "That melody, it was written for me. By Lily's cousin, someone who shaped my entire life, even after he was gone. Daniel's expression softened in stunned compassion. "So the song touched you, too," he murmured. "No," Elena whispered. "It saved me once. And today, it brought me back." It was in that moment, standing in a corporate lobby between marble columns, that two lives, shaped by loss and love, finally recognized each other. And something in Elena's heart began to heal. The melody faded into silence, yet its echo lingered in the air, gentle, trembling, alive. Elena stood still for several seconds after Daniel's last note, as though the world needed time to realign itself around what had just happened. When she finally spoke, her voice was steadier, but filled with warmth he hadn't heard before. "Daniel," she began softly, "you didn't just play a song. You brought back a piece of someone I thought I had lost forever." He lowered his gaze, embarrassed by the intensity of her words. "I'm glad it meant something to you. I only hoped it would help me earn enough for my daughter this month." Elena felt her chest tighten with a different kind of ache now, one born not of memories but of clarity. So many people in her building walked past him, blind to the story in his music. But she had heard it. She had felt it. And she knew that when life gave moments like this, rare, delicate, miraculous, they were meant to be honored. She stepped closer. "How old is your daughter?" "6, he said. "Daisy. She loves to draw, and she misses her mother every day." Elena nodded slowly, and for a moment, she could almost see Lily's little cousin again, humming the tune with innocent joy. Fate had tied their lives together long before they realized it. "Daniel," she said gently, "I don't want you playing here for spare change anymore." He blinked, startled. I'm sorry." She offered a warm, genuine smile, the kind that surprised even the employees watching from the side. "I want you to work here. Officially. As our resident pianist. Your music brings comfort, beauty, and soul to this place. Something money can't buy." He stared at her, speechless. "I don't know what to say. I don't think I could ever repay." "It's not repayment," she interrupted softly. "It's gratitude. For your melody, for your courage, for carrying a piece of someone who meant the world to me." She wasn't done. "And Daisy," Elena continued, her voice firm but tender, "will have her school fees covered. Fully. As long as she needs." Daniel covered his mouth with his hand, tears springing to his eyes. I can't accept that. It's too much." Elena shook her head. "It's exactly right. Let kindness be the legacy of the song that connected us. Let it change her future, the way it changed my heart today." For the first time in years, Elena felt the weight inside her lift, replaced by hope. And as Daniel began to play the melody once more, the lobby filled not with sorrow, but with the quiet promise of new beginnings.